Hello there friends, Skyrionn here. If you're new, then welcome to this channel, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back. This week, we're looking at another 10 times the Sims fans went too far, part 7. Again, as always, a little disclaimer, I'm pretty sure that some of these have had mods attached to them, because some of these things just aren't possible to do normally. Anyway, let's get to it. Number 1. Back in 2006, I was 12 years old, and I was playing The Sims 2 every single day. I was on my 4th generation of a family. In my household, there was my husband Ben, and his wife Rachel. They had a cute little girl called Amy, and Rachel was pregnant with baby number 2. It was another wonderful day in the life of this adorable little family. Rachel was home on maternity leave, Ben went off to work and Amy went to school. Rachel did some cleaning, took a nap, did some cooking, then she went to repair something. She had a good mechanical skill, but she got electrocuted and died. I was shook. So I'm watching this happen. The little girl comes home from school, and I'm already planning the whole single dad and his daughter mourn the loss of Rachel thing. When Amy got home, she went immediately to mourn Rachel's death. Ben was still at work for one more hour. I tried to have Amy call herself a nanny just to be safe, even though it was only 1 hour. But just as I cancelled her mourning action, social services pulled up and took her away. Ben had left that morning with a full happy family and came home to an empty house with a tombstone and some abandoned homework on the living room floor. I exited without saving and never went back to it. Number 2. I was playing a family of 3 generations, which consisted of 4 siblings, 2 children, 2 teenagers, 2 parents and 2 grandparents. I left my game for 2 hours, but when I came back, I saw the household bawling because one of the family members died from starvation, while my kids were being sent off to private school. At least 2 of the other family members died, I forget who, and the parents or grandparents were playing games on the computer. The house itself was a mess. They did have a refrigerator, a bathroom and beds. They were all just too lazy to fulfill their own needs. This whole catastrophe happened because I forgot to click the pause button before I left. I thought I did. Number 3. My 7th grade English teacher told me that he had created a replica of our class in The Sims and removed all the doors to see who really was the strongest student. Number 4. I had a normal suburban family. Nice house, 2 kids, the works. Except they had a secret child they kept locked in a room in the basement, with nothing but a sink. They only ever visited him to bring him a plate of old terrible food, once in a while, and to make fun of him and taunt him. Eventually, the kid's sink broke and kept flooding the room. Since he was a kid, he couldn't repair the sink, so it just kept flooding. The kid spent all of his time mopping up a never-ending spill and crying. Number 5. This sim robbed my sim's house, so I got my sim to befriend him, make him fall in love, cheat on his wife and family, and then ditch them to marry my sim. Then I invited his mother, father, ex-wife and his kids to my place for a barbecue. I ended up burning him and all of his family and ex-wife in a room filled with carpets and fireplaces, no doors or windows. My sim sat on a mezzanine looking down into the carnage below. She was really sad for a while, but ultimately moved on. Don't rob my sim's house. Number 6. I was inspired by another post, but can't seem to find it. So the story goes that there's 2 buddies of mine living together with one of their girlfriends with Sims and a Sims house they made. The house was unremarkable with a normal 1st and 2nd floor, but hidden away in the attic that had no escapes, there lived creatures. The attic housed 5 goblins that had a single bed each, easels and a tiny kitchen. All day long, these green disfigured Sims painted and painted, eventually becoming grotesque little Picassos. Their paintings funded the trio below him, having wild parties, gourmet food, luxurious lifestyles. The goblins, however, lived in near poverty each fighting for a glimpse of the outside world from the tiny window that gave them light. It was perfect harmony for the humans. That is, until that friend and his girlfriend broke up shortly after, so we showed her the goblins. We constructed a staircase into the dark, and she followed only to have the staircase disappear behind her, and as quickly as she entered, she was trapped in a glass box while the goblins watched for days until she withered away. And there she stayed as a dark reminder to those goblins what would happen if they didn't paint. Number 7. It was The Sims 2. I married the richest woman in town and had her move in with me. Of course, I only did this to get her money. However, I did not realise that by letting my newlywed wife move in with me, she would take her whole family with her. So I did the only rational thing my 12-year-old mind could come up with, namely killing all the unwanted members of the new family I acquired, and keeping only my wife alive. Dad, daughter and sister dead. Number 8. My house in The Sims was merely a facade for a giant looping maze that led to the centre. A few hours walk, I'd say. Anyway, at the end of this maze, the very centre of the building, was the most expensive TV simoleons could buy. The perfect bait for a burglar. My real furnishings and living space were outside the building, under the great starry sky. The trap was set and I had a taker. That poor burglar walked for hours and hours to get that TV, and he was home free. He carried that thing all the way out of the maze, so proud of his score, only to be met by a thoroughly impatient police officer. Easiest arrest in history. Number 9. I gave them life and left them forever, leaving them learn how to survive all on their own. Every decision they make, every achievement, it's all their own. But ultimately, they'll never truly feel a sense of purpose. No guiding hand pushing them towards some ultimate act that justifies their existence. They're lost in their world, hopeless, faithless, until such time that the original PC they were on, their whole world, comes to an end. One day, I may find that PC in my parents' attic, plug it back in, and revive that sim. When I do, it'll face an existential crisis. Everything it had ever wanted, every hope and dream, will be erased in an instant, as it snapped back to the very moment it was saved all those years ago. In that moment, its reality will cease to be. Its achievements will be undone. Its existence will be an utter lie. It never had a purpose, and it never will. Number 10. I used to try and make my house into a human zoo. I would call the police and fire department, order pizzas, and hire a maid, and trap them each in themed exhibits. Okay, so that was another 10 times the Sims fans went too far, part 7. What's the worst thing you've ever done to a sim? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you like this episode, then hit that like button, and if you really like this episode, then hit that subscribe button for more content. Now, enjoy your day. Bye.